Hey guys, welcome back to Serial at Midnight. I want to set up the conversation that you are about to be a part of. This is an inside look at Cinecon, the film festival for classic film lovers that really highlights obscurities and rarities from movie history, with one of the organizers of the event, Bryan Cooper. Let me not bury the lead. I will be attending Cinecon this year, 2024. I'll be at Cinecon in Beverly Hills over the Labor Day weekend. I hope that you can join me. I hope that we get to meet in person. I will be hopefully presenting a movie, but we are going to get all the details on this festival on Cinecon 2024 from Bryan Cooper. But I wanted to sort of introduce it because the conversation does not. I had not yet committed to Cinecon at the time that this was recorded, so I will be there, and I'm tremendously excited about it. So as you watch this or listen to this interview, go in knowing, having the knowledge that I am now a part of Cinecon, and I'm so excited about it. All right, guys, without further ado, Mr. Bryan Cooper from Cinecon. Hey guys, welcome back to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath Holland, and I'm joined by Bryan Cooper for an inside scoop on Cinecon. Bryan, welcome to Serial at Midnight.
Thank you for having me.
It is a blast to talk to you. Let's start with the most obvious question. What is Cinecon?
What is Cinecon? That is a great one, Heath. Well, it is a classic film festival. So if you look behind me, Cinecon Classic Film Festival, and this is our 60th year now. So that means it started in the mid 60s before I was around. Let's be honest, but it has been it's gone through many different phases throughout the years. It's moved around. It started in New York. It used to travel from city to city, and then it landed in LA, and it's kind of been here for I want to say like 20 years at least, maybe more, probably since the 90s. But it is a classic film festival, and we cover anything from the teens all the way up into the 60s. Generally, our fare is rare and unusual, unseen, what's not out there on YouTube, or what's not on physical media, or what isn't on TCM, or that kind of a thing. So we are like going after the rarities. And TCM shows a lot of rarities too, but a lot of chestnuts. And so it's a nice mix. But we are, for the most part, rare and unseen films, short subjects, documentaries. We do special programs. I can tell you about any of that fun stuff.
It's sort of a film festival for people that know film history and have yet to see some of these things, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
like if you're a fan, you might not have seen this.
Yeah, we like to stump our audience, and we have a pretty solid crowd that comes every year. So I program, and there's other programmers, things that I have not seen. So I've not seen this movie. I've only read about it. Maybe it's on IMDb, and all it lists is the cast and the director and the producer, but I haven't seen it. I sure hope it's good. Might be a dud. No
So
guarantee.
hold on, are you talking about you haven't seen the movies before they screen on the day of the thing?
Many of them, yes, they're not
Wow.
available. I mean, that's how unavailable they are.
Yeah.
So, and and a lot of them are 35 millimeter prints, and I don't have a way to run those here at my house. So we have to watch them in a theater.
Is it hard to come up with lists of films that are off the beaten path that people might not know?
Not for me. There's so many movies. I mean, I'm a film buff like you. I grew up watching classic film, and I pored over film history books like you wouldn't believe. The history of the studios, the films of that series. So I know there's a lot of movies that have not seen the light of day. So yeah, absolutely. There's a lot out there and a lot of times I'm nudging the people at the studios and the archive saying, "Hey, what about this movie?" And they've never even encountered this title in their database. Like,
They're like, what's
they're
that?
what we're showing a movie called The Bride Wore Crutches from 1941. It is a 20th Century Fox movie, under an hour, with a cast that most of you haven't heard of most of these people, except for Lionel Stander, who was on Heart to Heart. Maybe you remember him. He's got a part in it, but for the most part, pretty unusual. And I talked to my buddy Kevin Schaefer, who oversees the Fox library now because Disney acquired it in the merger, and he's not as familiar with that library as he is with Disney. I get it. He's been at Disney for many, many years. So I brought up this film, and he said, "The bride, what? The bride wore what?" And yeah, really, let's see if we can dig it out. So he did. They went out and got it from the salt mines in Kansas, and out came the 35 millimeter print. And we're all going to watch it together, and we're going to figure out why she's limping at her wedding. And who knows what happened before that. Another really cool thing happened in that process. We requested a film that is out there called Lancer Spy with Dolores Del Rio, and it's a mystery 1937 Fox movie. It is on home video, released through 20th Century Fox Archives, and the runtime on the video, the DVD, is actually 10 minutes less than the film print that they found. So they have 10 more minutes of this film that they found on a nitrate print at UCLA because they just happened to pull it because they're gonna do a down and dirty DCP for us. And so now we're going to see some rare and unseen footage from this movie. We don't even know what it is. So that kind of exciting stuff happens as you're exploring these film archives.
That's incredible. Okay. Oh, before I ask more questions, let's give people the details right here at the front. So where is Cinecon this year? How can they get tickets for it? Let's hit that right here at the
Let's
start.
do it. So Cinecon Classic Film Festival, and this year it is presented by the Jack Oakey and Victoria Horn Oakey Charitable Foundation, and they are big supporters, and we're very grateful for them. And the venue is a new venue for us. It is the Writers Guild of America Theater. It is a beautiful theater in the heart of Beverly Hills, and I'm thrilled to be there. It's gorgeous. They do screenings there all the time. They have like top of the line equipment, projection, and they can get tickets on Eventbrite. And I will tell you this, I don't know when this is going to air, but August 15th is the last day of early bird full festival passes. And then they go from $2.99 to $3.49. And then we also sell day passes. You can go to our website, cinecon.org, for a full schedule. And you can see the list of all the celebrity honorees. We've got lots of celebrities coming, special programs. Everything's up on our website. So please check it out.
Okay, say I'm a Serial at Midnight viewer who's watching this video and I'm like, I like physical media, I like movies, I like cult movies, I like exploitation movies. I don't know, this sounds kind of interesting, but what kind of crowd is going to be there? What am I getting myself into? What should they expect?
There's going to be a lot of film geeks. You're gonna meet a lot of like-minded film lovers. You're gonna meet people who still collect physical media and watch every movie they can get their hands on. You're gonna meet film students who are just kind of getting into this whole world of classic movies. You're gonna meet diehards who go to TCM and every film festival, Capitol Fest and Cinevent and whatever. Like they go everywhere. So it's going to be a wide cross section. There's going to be people from the studios who work in the vaults, and there's going to be celebrities that worked in these films. They're going to be talking about their experiences. One of our honorees is Tommy Cook, who you know is in Song of Arizona. He's 94 years old. His film came out in 1946. He's sharp as a tack, and he remembers everything about working with Roy Rogers, and he's just going to regale us with stories. So we've also got Stephanie Powers coming, Russ Tamblyn, who's an amazing dancer, actor. Tina Cole from My Three Sons is going to be there. We've got Neil Adams McQueen, Steve McQueen's widow. She's going to be presenting the award to Stephanie. And we've got George Shakiris, who is a past honoree, coming back to give an award to Russ because they co-starred in West Side Story together. So they're friends. And we've got Cora Sue Collins, who's a child star who maybe people don't know, but she was a very busy actress in the 30s and 40s until she retired at the ripe old age of 16 in 1945. And she's 97, and she's going to be there. And we're going to be showing a film she's never seen called The Harvester, thought to be a lost film. You go on IMDb, it says, this film is lost. Guess what? Paramount found it. And they pieced it together, and we have been trying for years to get this because Cora Sue every year says, I haven't seen The Harvester. And there were some rights issues we had to kind of untangle, but we're so excited to show it for her, and that's on Labor Day. She's going to come on out. So it's really special when you've got a celebrity there who was in a movie that came out in 1936, and they're going to be seeing it for the first time. So that kind of stuff happens at Cinecon. Maybe it doesn't happen anywhere else.
Oh, that's quite a pitch. And I want to make sure that people don't feel intimidated by it either, right? They don't feel like, well, I have to have paid my dues before I could buy a ticket for a thing
Oh my
like
gosh.
this.
Not at all. Hey, look, I started going in 2002, and I was just working in TV production and heard about this festival and thought, hey, this will be fun. And I felt like I was with family. Like everybody's friendly and I mean, I got to know the people that ran the festival all those many years ago, and now I'm running the festival with them. So if it can happen for me, but hey, I'm there. Come up and say hello to me. Absolutely. And I want to know what you like and what you don't like and what you want to see next time. And I like to think that we're a pretty approachable group.
Well, so what kind of detective work are you doing to uncover some of these movies? I would love to know how you select things. Like what's your if the studios are like, "Oh, what's that? Oh, hold on, let me get back to you." Like where are you pulling this stuff from?
A lot of times we come up with titles and we can't always dig it up, but or it's just not available for whatever reason. Maybe it's that they've only got one print of it and they don't want to send it out because they're afraid that. So a lot of times we bring it to their attention and then they want to do some work on it before we can show it. But once it's been flagged, I'm a pest. I will drive these studio archivists and these film archivists crazy if I want a title that badly. And they're very patient with me because I feel like it's now or never. A lot of this, nitrate won't wait and all of that. I mean, we got to get these films out there, and it's really expensive to do this work. Like, because you talk about it on your show, how expensive it is to do these transfers and make them available on home video. Well, the same goes for taking these films out of a vault where they've been sitting for years and years and inspecting them and making sure that they're not decomposing and there's not perforation damage and soundtrack issues and color issues. And it is so much work. So this is a way of giving back to those people, the unseen heroes at these studio archives who are doing the work every day to keep the film legacies of these amazing studios going. And we want to thank them by giving them a platform and showing these movies to a wider audience. So that is the gift. Like, I'm really grateful to them, and they're grateful to us because we're going to show it in the theater, which is where it should be seen.
Yeah. So you guys are gonna be showing Nitrate? Did I hear that right?
We're not showing Nitrate. We're showing 35.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we can't show Nitrate at this theater. When we were at the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood, they have a Nitrate booth, and it is like a fireproof, kind of a booth
Right.
situation. We did show Nitrate there. So if we ever go back there, or UCLA can run it, so there's a handful of places where you can show Nitrate, but unfortunately not this venue.
Yeah, I like the way you were talking about it's this reciprocal kind of a thing. Film is a communal art form, and I think sometimes we lose sight of that. We try to protect it, or we try to, I don't know. I'm so many people because I do talk a lot about physical media. A lot of people say, "Oh, I haven't been to the theater since," and then they name something crazy, right? Maybe like since 2001 or something like that. And not the year, the movie. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we're supposed to watch movies with other people. It's great to watch them in the privacy of your own home for that experience, but there's nothing like watching a movie in an audience with a dark room full of willing participants who are going on this journey with you. And I just wanted to speak to that because you kind of said
It's
that.
interesting. I think about that all the time because when I can see a movie beforehand, I'll watch it and I'll be like, well, that was good. I don't know. I wonder how that's going to play in front of an audience. I'm just watching it here, either on my computer or on my TV. And a few years ago, we honored Eva Marie Saint, and she wanted to see a movie called, I think it's called That Certain Feeling with Bob Hope. It's a 1956 VistaVision, beautiful film with Bob Hope, but it's not out there. It just for some reason didn't ever get a new re-release. And I watched this bootleg copy of it, and I thought this movie's kind of a dud. It's not really that funny, and it's Bob Hope and Eva Marie Saint, and I'm like thinking, can we show this for her? How's this gonna go? That's the movie she wanted. So, okay, we're going to show this for her. It was a slam dunk. People were like howling in the theater. They were loving this film. And why isn't this movie out there? And how could this be? How is it possible that I've ever seen this? You know, and I'm like, okay, I can't base it on always on my taste or what I think or what the experience is in my own home because I was sitting in that theater with them and I was like, this is pretty good.
Yeah. And you know
So,
what? They're going to remember that experience too.
yeah, we should have the opportunity to go to a theater. And plus, from a preservation standpoint, there's some beautiful movie theaters out there, some classic movie theaters. They need some love, you know. So think about that when you're going to see it, especially a classic film. There's a lot of repertory houses out here that are in historic buildings. That's important too. These
Yeah.
houses that the studios built, and then of course when they lost the rights to exclusivity on these theaters, they went into a state of disrepair. That was the late 1940s, right? And here we are. A lot of these beautiful theaters are gone. So I think about that a lot too. I think about the communal experience, but also being in this historic place. You know, here in LA, we have something called Last Remaining Seats that is a really incredible film festival every year, and it's downtown Los Angeles, and they open up all the old theaters downtown, and we get to watch old movies, classic movies, on the big screen in these theaters that sometimes aren't even open, to the public.
Mhm.
And that is an amazing experience. That is just like off the charts. I went to go see Philadelphia Story there, and it was like a different movie. I'd seen it a million times.
There's a movie palace in my town. I'm
Oh
far from
yeah.
Los Angeles. We have a beautiful, it was a Paramount theater
Okay.
and it fell into disrepair. Now they've restored it, but it's mostly a concert venue. And when they
Okay.
do, they show a few movies at Christmas time. And in the summer, they show like, we're going to do we'll show the DVD of the Goonies or something like that. I'm like, man, if I could just get involved with that
Oh,
would be,
you need to buy that theater. Come on. You
yeah,
need to rustle up some dough and buy.
yeah.
You need to have your own outlet for your love of film in your own hometown.
Even if I could just host screenings there and
Yeah.
introduce the screenings and be like, tonight they showed The Magnificent Seven, but it was
Okay.
the Chris Pratt version with
No.
Denzel. I'm like, no, 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 guys, you showed the original Magnificent Seven. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's wrong.
Do you want to talk about some of the movie? I know it's a full slate, but do you want to hit maybe some of the highlights for you from
Yeah,
schedule?
sure. So we're opening with a Chestnut. We've got a new restoration of Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm. It's a Shirley Temple movie. Everybody loves it, but you've never seen it like this. It's a brand new DCP. It's going to be gorgeous. It's a mix, just to let you know and let your audience know, like it's a mix of digital and film. We can't do all film. Just not everything is available on film. We can't do all digital. So it's a mix, and we have this situation with our booth where we have to change out the projector, and we have to get in there and have some time to move things around. So we take like a morning of digital, lunch break, switch it out, get the film projector ready. So it's fun for our projectionists. They hate me right now, and they will after the weekend's over. We've got The Winds of Chance, which is a rare silent movie just restored by Chris Gray. I have not seen it, but it's all of our silent movies have live musical accompaniment. So you get that real feel of being in a theater. We've got some Vitaphone shorts. And when most people think about Vitaphone shorts, they probably think about the late 20s, early 30s Vitaphones. And they had, the Vitaphone Project, which you might be aware of, where they found the discs and they had to match the sound discs to the film. But Vitaphone has a longer history than that. It went all the way into the 40s. And so I decided I wanted to dig up some rare Vitaphone shorts from the later period because that's kind of my jam. So I got this call from a guy at the Red Skelton Museum in Indiana. And he said, have you ever seen this Red Skelton short called The Broadway Buckaroo, 1939? I'd never heard of it. I said, well, I don't know. So I was making this list. I was on the UCLA website, which you can actually go on. Anybody can go on the UCLA database and search what they have. So I spent like half my life on there looking to see what they've got. And I find movies that way. And so I found some other Vitaphone shorts, but not that one. And I contacted a friend of mine at the Warner Brothers archive. And I said, I really want to show this. It's for some reason, it's not on any of your Vitaphone shorts collections. It's not on TCM. Like, what's the deal? And we couldn't find any rights issues with it. It just fell through the cracks. and it's like his third or fourth movie. He hadn't even started making features yet, way before he was on TV, 1939. So I convinced him to pull an original 35 millimeter print from their vault, along with a few others, and I programmed these Vitaphone shorts. Again, I haven't seen them. I hope they're good, but look, it's rare, right? So there you go. Rare uncooked Vitaphone shorts. The pinker, the better. Anyway, so we've got a tribute to Myrtle Gonzalez. I bet you don't know who that is, Heath.
No.
See, I stumped you. Myrtle Gonzalez is probably the first Mexican American movie star in history. She made movies in the teens, and she died during the Spanish flu epidemic in 1918. But she has a huge resume of films. And her family reached out to us and said, we've never seen our great aunt in anything. Could you run something by Myrtle Gonzalez? And so we found a short and actually one reel of a feature. So we have one, it's not a complete feature, but we're going to get a chance to see her. And we've got some shorts coming from Universal. I'm working on just a little plug. I'm working on a book about the history of Universal short subjects. So I know that catalog very well. I've been working with Universal on this, and they've been allowing me to view some very rare material from their archive. So I handpicked some of these along with the co-author of my book, Mark Cantor, who is an incredible jazz on film historian. He just wrote a book on soundies, 2-volume book on soundies, and if you don't have it, you have to seek it out. It's this stunning book about these early music videos from the 1940s that a lot of people don't know about.
Is he involved in the Kino Lorber Soundies box set that just came out?
Yeah, he's
Very
on
good.
there.
That's an amazing collection.
That's a great set. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's Mark. So yeah, I just want to give him a little plug because he worked for years on that book, and then he finally finished the book. And I said, hey, you want to write a book on Universal shorts? And his wife was like, I want my husband back. And I was like, nope.
Not yet.
Not yet. So we're working on that. It'll be a couple of years. But
Okay, I'm sorry. Please continue.
no, not at all. So we are showing. Are you familiar with Jeremy Arnold? He's a commentator on TCM. He's their B movie guy. He wrote Christmas at the Movies. Really, really great guy. Good friend of mine. He goes to TCM, and he's like a B movie fanatic. So he sent me a list of B movies that he wanted to see. So we picked one called Forced Landing. It's a Republic picture, 1935, and we pulled it. And the crazy thing was
1935. That's the beginning.
That's the beginning of Republic. Yeah, you know that. So I'd never seen it. And my good friend Charlotte Barker at Paramount said, yeah, we've done work on that. We can give you that title. So Jeremy had only seen a bootleg copy of it, which was 10 minutes shorter than what she had because, as you know, Republic had a habit of cutting their features down to 54 minutes so they could fit in a 1-hour time slot on television. But then they just got rid of the footage.
They cut the negatives.
Yeah.
They cut the original camera negatives most of the time.
So a lot of times what Paramount has to do is go to BFI and the other archives around the world to try to find complete films, especially when, we'll talk about the Roy Rogers film, same deal that we're showing, the Roy Rogers film, Song of Arizona. So Charlotte said, yeah, it's 64 minutes. And he had only seen the 54-minute version. And it's called Forced Landing for a reason, because there's this big scene at the end where they're trying to land this plane or whatever. And that's all cut out of the TV version. So
well, that's the thing, because they didn't cut judiciously. They just cut, it seems like they just cut kind of randomly.
Well, with the Roy Rogers movies, they just cut out musical numbers. And for me, that's a part of the experience. I love the action. I love the getting the bad guys and riding around on horses, but I also want to see Dale Evans do her thing. So
yeah.
It's a trade-off. So Song of Arizona, I actually had to pull clips of that because Tommy Cook is going to do a KCAL interview with me on next Friday, and they wanted a clip, and I hadn't seen it. And I'm assuming you watched, because we should tell everybody that you were kind enough to write the film notes for our program for that.
I did, yeah, and I enjoy that film.
Yeah, it's fun, and Tommy's great in it. He's actually got a pretty solid part. He's the young kid whose dad has gone wrong. and he's hiding all the money, right?
He's torn apart. You're tearing me apart.
And then there's a really sad, unhappy ending. Everybody dies. I mean, we should just say that out front. Like all the kids, they're all just strewn out on the prairie.
It's like
But
smoke on the water. I
yeah,
mean,
it's sorry. We were tired of happy endings. Boring. So that movie, like I think most of the musical numbers were cut out of that. Probably what you saw. I don't know. I don't know what you saw.
no, I saw the full one.
Was it complete? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and the musical numbers are fantastic.
I mean, there's this Halloween number in there, and it's like in a
It's,
barn, and you're like, what's happening right now? Like,
but it's so big. It's so big, and like it feels so like grandiose, and that number specifically feels like it's almost like a Busby Berkeley kind of a thing.
yeah,
Like
I don't
it's
know what they're doing in that movie, but and then anyway, it's crazy, and the Mitchell Boys Choir, like they've got like they like overproduced it, but it's fun.
they did.
And then
Yeah.
Roy and Dale do a duet in a nightclub, which is really cute, and she ropes him, with a lariat, and anyway,
And they weren't married. It was in that in between period.
yeah, it
Of
wasn't
them
until
recently.
Roy's wife at the time passed away,
Yeah.
and then they got married the end of 1947.
But I feel like you can see some sparks there. They seem to
Dale
yeah.
had it going on in that movie. She
Yeah.
she really did.
She did.
Yeah, she's great. So anyway, we're excited because Tommy Cook's going to be there, and I haven't talked to him yet about this, but he's sharp as a tack. So we'll get some good stories.
So you pull clips and you're going to be on the news with this thing, right? When you pulled the clips, like you had to send them to him so he can prepare for it or what?
I just sent him to the news station
Oh, okay.
so they
Okay.
could run the clip. Yeah. So
Did,
I pulled the like there was like three or four really good clips, where he's like, my
yeah.
dad is what happened to my dad? So
Yeah.
I wasn't able, I wasn't sure which one was the best. So I'm just gonna send them all. Anyway, so that's going on, and then let's talk about some of the other honorees because we've got some other great people coming. Stephanie Powers, who we all love from Heart to Heart, right? But did you know that she had a huge career at Columbia Pictures starting in 1960? She was under contract to Columbia Pictures.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So she's in Experiment with Terror with Lee Remick. At that time, she's doing some of the beach party movies. So she was in a movie called The Interns, and what we're showing is The New Interns, which is basically an overlong episode of General Hospital. It's like over the top ridiculousness, but it's very fun. It's George Siegel's film debut, right? Telly Savalas is in it. Barbara Eden is in it. In fact, we're trying to get Barbara to come. Who else is in it? Michael Callan. There's people that went on to huge careers in television, and Stephanie is with Dean Jones. You know who Dean Jones is, right? From
Oh
like,
yeah.
it wasn't he in The Love Bug? Herbie, is that Dean Jones?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's in a lot of those Disney 60s Disney movies.
And they're wrestling with a very serious issue, Heath, because he is sterile and they want to have a child. I mean, this is serious business.
Yeah.
But Stephanie may or may not be ready to adopt. So it's like there's a lot going on.
Hmm.
There's a lot of like really serious stuff and packed in this movie. It came out in 1964, and I'm watching this and I'm thinking, audiences in 1964 were ready for this. I'm not even ready for this.
Do we
Oh,
need to take an intermission so we can just recover ourselves?
yeah, pull myself together. I did. I'm fine now.
That's it. That's very true though. 64, that's very early for that sort of subject matter.
There's a lot of serious undertones, but it's very impressive how they kind of kept it all together. We're getting a 35 millimeter print from Sony Columbia. We're really grateful for that. It's not on home video, so there's another reason to come out and see it. For Russ Tamblyn, I I actually spoke to Russ on the phone, really nice guy, and I said, how would you feel about us showing The Kid from Cleveland, which is pretty much his film debut from a starring point of view. It says introducing Rusty Tamblyn. I don't know how excited he was about this film, but I was because it's a baseball movie, and there's like the Cleveland Indians are all over this movie. So for baseball fans, you're gonna love it. It is out. It is Olive put it out, so it's out there. But we're gonna watch it with Russ, and Tommy Cook is also in that movie. We got 2 stars from a movie came out in 1949. We've got two people alive that are going to be at the festival to look at this film, and they have not seen it since it first came out, and they've not seen each other since they worked together in 1949. So that kind of stuff, I think it makes it special. We've got some Laurel and Hardy restorations, silent restorations of beautiful new, not seen restorations of some Laurel and Hardy films. Gentleman who I work with, Stan Taffel, is a huge Laurel and Hardy fan. It would not be a Cinecon without that. Either Laurel and Hardy or Charlie Chase is a must for us. The Fire Brigade, the silent movie, was recommended by John Marsalis, who is our lead accompanist. It's an MGM film from 1926 that has two-strip Technicolor in it that the Library of Congress restored. They found it, and it's tinted. So all the scenes where there's fire, they've actually hand-drawn and hand-tinted in the fire. So I'm told it's spectacular, and the last time it was screened was like 40 years ago. So
Wow.
Right there. Yeah. That's something to see.
That could be a mic drop, but you're going to keep going.
Yeah, I'm not holding a mic. I'll drop something else. Okay. The lady wants Mink. You know how badly she wants Mink, Heath? She is willing to buy live minks and raise them in her backyard so she can get a mink coat.
Wow.
That's how badly she wants it. Wow. So I did get to preview this film because it's in True Color. It's Republic. True Color, 1953. My friend at Paramount sent me 3 True Color movies. One is Women of the North Country and The Belle of New Mexico with Estelita Rodriguez. So I watched all 3 of these. And The Lady Wants Mink just jumped out at me. The couple next door is Eve Arden and William Demarest. And she's got the mink coat, and Ruth Hussey is married to Dennis O'Keefe, right, who you know from all these film noirs. And he can't afford to buy her the coat that she wants. But she's in competition with Eve Arden. She's got to have this coat. So she takes it upon herself to go out and find these live minks, and, well, all hell breaks loose. But
is it a comedy, or is it like
It's a comedy, yeah.
It's like, depending on the tone there. I mean,
well, you don't actually see them skinning the minks and making the coat. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
It's not very PC these days. Like, I don't think most women want mink coats anymore. So it is of its time.
Somebody's going to run up and throw paint on it.
What else can I tell you? What else can I tell you?
We might be winding down.
Yeah, we might be winding down. What else? I can tell you that on our last day, the whole afternoon is just 35mm prints. Just one right after the other, starting with The Flower of Doom, which we're getting from UCLA, Film and Television Archive, silent movie, which I've never seen, the Chinese underworld. The Bride Wore Crutches, which I mentioned. Nobody's Fool, which is a B Universal from 1936 or 37, starring Edward Everett Horton, who people probably know from Fractured Fairy Tales. Maybe that's where you know him from, his voice.
I was like, the name. The librarian was working on it.
Actually starred in movies in the 30s. And then he became a character actor. He's always that valet or that butler or the bartender, you know. But he starred in movies. I was like, I got to show that. And I think they showed it at another festival a few years ago, and I couldn't get out there. Capital Fest showed it, and I'm going to get that. And then we're ending it with Hotel for Women, which is this big budget 20th Century Fox, Ann Southern, Linda Darnell, lots of female trouble going on in that movie. And so we kind of ending on a big, splashy, big budget kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So that's where that goes. But it's 5 days of classic films, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. And if you get your tickets now, it's $300. It's a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to see that many movies in succession in a movie theater for that price. It's impossible. So it's definitely worth it to come out, or even if you live, you know, down in San Diego or up north, come on down to LA for the weekend. It's a long weekend. We're going to be in Beverly Hills. It's beautiful. Lots of hotels, lots of restaurants around there. So it's a great way to spend your weekend.
It sounds wonderful. And I want to thank you for, well, not just for organizing it, for your work behind the scenes to make this happen, but for just your passion for film that you have, because obviously this is something you do because you love it. This is not something that anybody does that doesn't love it. So I just want to thank you for that.
Well, I want to thank you. I love your channel. I watch you regularly, and I love that you love movies and that you share your love with your audience. So I'm thrilled to be on your show.
I'll put links in the description of everything. Is there anywhere else you want, like social media sites or anything you want people to hit?
We're on Facebook, we're on X, we're on Instagram. Find us, Cinecon Classic Film Festival. Follow us, like us, and become a part of our family.
Well said. Bryan, thank you.
Sure, I appreciate it. It was really, really fun to chat with you.